Good good afternoon. It's 1:30 p.m. here from the great state of Texas here in the United States, and this is February 14, 2021, and this is today is Happy Valentine's Day for all various brothers and sisters, friends in and around the world. This is Comrade Fontaine Daniel. I will be speaking live here from the great state of Texas here in the United States. And first, here in the state of Texas, if you are driving around, you have to be extra precaution. And if you look outside, there is about 5 to 6 inches of snow out there. So if you are driving, you have to take extra precaution. I know we don't used to familiar with snow. Occasionally we do have snow, and because of that, many people are not familiar with driving on snow and could result in accident that can be very damaging. I want to thank all of you. If you are driving here, especially in the North Texas, you have to take extra precaution. I know there was an accident that happened here a few days ago, that it was almost a stockpile of vehicle that pile up caused series of death, close to 6. I don't know, the number may have escalated. So I just wish everyone driving back to and from work, and I know healthcare workers were being proportionally affected on the number of affected on these accidents. So I want to take a moment to thank those who happen to be involved, and let our prayer be on them, and I wish them all the rapid recovery. This is Comrade Fontaine Daniel speaking here from the great state of Texas here in the United States. I want to thank all of you, and so today I want to, those in ground zero, those citizens of Southern Cameroon in ground zero, and those, just hold on, I'm going. Sorry for the interruption. Yes, so I can imagine driving in that horrific weather. But anyway, we are not familiar with this kind of weather, but we'll learn to be used to. But anyway, be safe out there as you celebrate Valentine's Day, you know. But what I want to talk about, as you all see from the images, and I have been speaking about the question of Southern Cameroon. For many of you, you have listened carefully. You have watched what is happening. Southern Cameroon is not a conquered territory. Southern Cameroon is not a territory that belongs to neighboring country, La Republique du Cameroun. Southern Cameroon should have been decolonized. Southern Cameroon should have been decolonized per Resolution 1514 XV, Resolution 1514 XV of the United Nations decolonizations. It calls specifically that the territory that initially under the control of the Allied forces should be given their rightful independence. Southern Cameroon meet all the various criteria. Southern Cameroon meet all the various criteria. And so I do not see any rationale that one will emphasize that the people of Southern Cameroon should remain under the umbrella of a foreign nation, La Republique du Cameroun, to guide the people of Southern Cameroon. I don't see any rationale. I don't see any documentations. There is no legal documentations that specify. If we are rational in our critical decisions, that we are honest to ourselves, we must respect Resolution 1514 of the United Nations Charter that call for decolonizations. It did not call for partial decolonizations. So you see the images. Those are citizens, children, mother that has been specifically burned down by the brutal regime of Pobia because they are interested to satisfy the interests of France. They are interested to satisfy the interests of France rather than the indigenous people of Southern Cameroon. If the United Nations purposely was created for the common good of human kindness, then the people of Southern Cameroon deserve a better. I do not see people cannot use their personal opinion to emphasize and impose upon the sovereign people of Southern Cameroon that are going excruciating suffering, pain by the immoral regime of Pobia. But anyway, stay tuned. I am going to be dealt on these questions. But anyway, that is the citizen of Southern Cameroon, a child of about 4 months old, brutally burned down by the brutal regime of Pobia that we have on this planet. There are certain images or videos that I'm going to be showing in this broadcast that may be offensive to viewers. So be prepared. I just want to warn every individual watching this video today to be very cautious. If you are emotionally, please do not follow me on this specific Valentine's Day video broadcast because some of them are very offensive and very brutal. But I have no choice. But I have to present it to the world community, friends, relatives here in the United States and elsewhere around the world, because We have the major media. The major media won't broadcast it. They won't. They won't even show an inch of it. So long as it doesn't affect them, of course, they don't care. But however, I am going to present all those images. Some are very offensive and maybe very brutal to viewers. So if you are watching this video, this broadcast today, this Valentine's Day, please take extra precaution because sometimes they may be very offensive to viewers. So stay tuned, don't go away. This is Comrade Funton Daniel speaking here from the great state of Texas here in the United States. Stay tuned. People argue on the point that the people of Southern Cameroon doesn't meet the criteria of a sovereign nation and that they could not create an additional nations within a specific geographical location. That is very impunitive argument presented by some forces of disorder that they claim that there is not potential, that there is no room for creating another nations in an era. First, I want to dispute that claim. Prior to having these conversations, the British administering authority were providing, there were two territories, that were two specific territories that had to do with La Republique du Cameroun. The North voted to join Nigeria. The North voted to join Nigeria, not La Republique du Cameroun. The criteria that were presented were not admissibly should be considered in any form. They said they have no choice. Either you join La Republique du Cameroun or you join Nigeria. But they did not ask whether they can stay on their own. First, the people of Southern Cameroon did not need any subvention or material from the Great Britain. Southern Cameroon were able to make surpluses from revenue that they were able to sustain themselves during this era, during the British administering authority. So the people of Southern Cameroon were self-satisfied with the revenue they generate from Southern Cameroon and able to manage its populations. Prior to Equatorial Guinea is 1.3 million. At the moment, it's 1.9 million. The population of Equatorial Guinea is 1.9 million. Gabon is a nation. It's a 2 million inhabitants of its populations. Southern Cameroon is more than the population of Equatorial Guinea and Gabon combined. Southern Cameroon is 8 million inhabitants. Southern Cameroon is well-industrialized nations with all the raw material that you can expect it from Southern Cameroon. They deserve their right to be able to exist as a sovereign nation. They do not need any subvention from any foreign nations. Prior to 1960, the people were self-sufficient with the raw material and revenue they generate, were able to sustain the people of Southern Cameroon. They do not need any further subvention from any foreign nations. But they need recognition of their sovereign identity, that they can be able to govern themselves and have the government that represents the aspiration of the people of Southern Cameroon and not the foreign terrorist government of La Republique du Cameroun that will dictate on what the people of Southern Cameroon should and shouldn't do. The reason and the rationale that is given is because of the raw material that is in Southern Cameroon territory that they believe is of a priority for the French, La Republique du Cameroun, and France. That is the basic and fundamental argument presented, that they can be able to extract those material for their own self-glorifying interest rather than the interest of the citizens of Southern Cameroon. And that is the rationale they given to support why Southern Cameroon should remain under a colonial territory of La Republique du Cameroun so that they provide them quick and access to those raw material. That is the rationale. And that is why the killing is going on in Southern Cameroon. It's not a prerogative of international community. And you can see why. You can see why. You can see why the rationale. Why citizens of Southern Cameroon is being killed and they continue to issue condemnations. Of course, we can issue thousands of condemnations that we are deeply concerned. Of course, you are deeply concerned. But the murder and slaughtering is what is more painful to the citizens of Southern Cameroon and elsewhere in around the world. And this is Fundon Daniel speaking live here from the great state of Texas, here in the United States, on the continuous massacre in Southern Cameroon territory. Stay tuned, don't go away. That some of the images and the video that I'm going to be presenting today is going to be very painful to watch. And of course, the major media doesn't see this as something to be reported, so long as it doesn't concern them. Of course, you can talk about the CNN, you can talk about the Fox News, you can talk about the various medias. None of them can even show exactly what is going on in Southern Cameroon. None of them can show, so long as it's of the lesser race. That is what I can classify. None of them care much about it. But however, we were going to use our own media that we have and expose exactly what is going on in citizens of Southern Cameroon. That is someone, that is a French president. Of course, U.S. Senate Resolution 684. U.S. Senate Resolution 684. Specifically accused France, and that is the French president, Emmanuel Macron, that despite the fact that the United Senate wrote a resolution, it hasn't occurred to France that they have to make it 2 years old. And imagine it's 38 years today. Since he has been in the helm, France is very cautious. You can imagine that the former French president, one of the former French presidents, I don't know if it's Chirac, say an Anglophone cannot in any circumstances be a president of La Republique du Cameroun. That was French president in his media verbalized clearly that an Anglophone cannot in any circumstances be a president. Then obviously it doesn't provide us to have any room to deal with La Republique du Cameroun, because initially we should have been decolonized per United Nations Resolution 1514 SV and 1608 SV. And that is why we are asking the power that be to respect the status of Southern Cameroon, to let them live as a sovereign nation so that the massacre cycle that is continue erupted in Southern Cameroon can have a peace, and that the people can have a resting moment in their social life. Of course, we all reside here, and that is why we call that they should be able to live together. But we don't know the pain, and when you see a young man in his vibrant age seeing the military, one will expect them to protect them. Instead, those military are burning homes, children, and like the one you just see in this video, giving me the rationale why you believe in every circumstances that the people of Southern Cameroon should live in happily, in harmony, even in the next 100 years, in harmony with this Republique du Cameroun. Some of the videos that I'm going to be posting are very offensive, and you can listen in the tribal language of Pobia speaking. Their military, their sons and daughters, their citizens carry on the most cruel and brutal behavior in Southern Cameroon that has never been called for. We were brought into this nightmare by the British government. Of course, they are sitting quietly. It doesn't matter to them. They just sit and keep quietly. And that is why you can see the careful wording language of the British government. It doesn't matter to them. If the British government can leave the European Union, but they see the people of Southern Cameroon to live under the slave of La Republique du Cameroun. This is the Valentine's Day we are celebrating. Why our children of our relatives are being burnt into ashes like charcoal material by a foreign nation, La Republique du Cameroun. This is the world we live in. The world that is full of injustice, full of bias, full of discrimination. And this is the world we all believe that we have been appreciated, because injustice and the power that be choose the wrong over the truth, because they believe that it's their own priority for their own personal interest. When the people of citizens of Southern Cameroon do not in any circumstances believe that they should live under one umbrella with a foreign nation, La Republique du Cameroun. As you see, our citizens are being burned into ashes. We seek for God, and God is nowhere to be found to come to the rescue of the citizens of Southern Cameroon. This is the world we live in. Stay tuned, don't go away. You can see those are homes. The images you see are homes of citizens of Southern Cameroon. They were never financed by La Republique du Cameroun. They were never provided subvention. It is a struggling. Well, here in the United States, you can take a home for credit and pay. These are financially citizens struggling within their means and utilize their revenue and build a small hut that could be a family hut. It could be a family hut. And that is why the Republique du Cameroon military intentionally, people from the tribal group of the current president of La Republique du Cameroon that are currently caused a havoc in Southern Cameroon territory, burning homes, burning children, burning women, burning whatever it is, just in the most cruel regime. Yet we are in the world that we believe that the law should be able to suppress the political interest. That is the key provision of the United Nations Resolution 1514 XV. It called for decolonization. It did not call for partial decolonization. And the people of Southern Cameroon were voted, and you saw it. That is the document on which the U.S. Secretary of State. Why are we refuse the people their privilege, their legal right to exist as a sovereign nations? In this era of cruelty, in this era that we turn to define what we believe rather than what the truth is specifically explanatory. That is the United Nations current Secretary General. When he traveled to La Republique du Cameroun, one will expect some kind of effective decision and critical behavior to change what is going on. As soon as he arrived here in the United States headquarters in New York, nothing is happening because the provision and money has been allocated. And so nothing happened. And so the black race continued to be murdered. Is that the world we want to live in? But that is the world of cruelty. World that is led by cruel individual leaders, and that matters to them is nothing of any particular interest. That is what is going on in Southern Cameroon. The major media will not even speak about it. So long as we don't have money to provide to them to expose it, but we will use our own means to show the world and those who are able to watch and see the painful the people of citizens of Southern Cameroon are going through this nightmare. In a world of bribery and corruption, in a world where bribery is the power monger of the world, and that is why nothing can happen. As we speak, we will speak, bleed, and nothing will happen. That is the world we live in. But the United Nations Resolution 1514 called for decolonization. The vote that was held in the United Nations, we are asking the United States to do something because we don't expect the British government to do anything. Of course, it doesn't matter. The British Prime Minister is just a rubbish, to be honest with you. I mean, apologize for my language. It is a pain that I see what comes through on my people that I feel. And I look upon the British government as a nightmare to this African society. Because if the British government today called the United Nations and asked them, the people of Southern Cameroon was a wrong decision ever made by the British government, and that we, in this moment, at this time, will regret what we did to them and let them resume their title over the territory, things will begin to change. Right now, La Republique du Cameroun use the word secession. Why are we seceding from who? They use the word secession. So therefore, Southern Cameroon was voted in 1961, the subsequent year. La Republique wasn't part of Southern Cameroon. Where did the word separatists come in from? We were simply living together like a boyfriend and girlfriend. And boyfriend and girlfriend living together doesn't make us husband and wife. But today is a Valentine's Day. So we are not husband and wife. We were simply living as a boyfriend. And this is Valentine's Day's message to the world community, to the United States, and to the powers that be, that they can do this. A phone call. It takes a phone call and call the various leaders that it was morally wrong for the British government to ever believe that the people of Southern Cameroon should live under a submissive wife to La Republique du Cameroun. But I am here to denounce it, and that the people of Southern Cameroon deserve their sovereignty to be heard. They deserve it. They deserve it. They should have than the indigenous citizen people. In this world we created, in this world that God created, it created for harmony, that we should live till the day God chooses to call all of us into wherever He decides. But we have turned the world into a more barbaric animals place as we select a special racist class, and this is the problem. And those of the lesser class, we care less about them. But bribery is the distinctive cruelty, because those who are supposed to make these critical messages, decisions, are being bribed, and that they have no voice to speak except we release the message. And what we don't know when someone can make a phone call and calls that we need something to be done right now. In the meantime, the children, the houses begin to burn into ashes. Stay tuned. This is Fundon Daniel speaking here from the great state of Texas here in the United States.
même si police ou gendarme, c'est...
Versez-le, pas le tuer, non, tu tapes de quoi? Voilà aussi. Quoi tu verses là-bas, ça c'est en bas. C'est pas la
ça c'est l'eau, il fait froid ici en doux. Il y a quoi avec toi, c'est la magie.
Fellow brothers and sisters, this video that I'm going to be showing are very offensive and viewers are seriously warned. I don't have the filter so that I can be able, but I am going to show it as naked as it is. Then you can see exactly, this is just a key evidence of what people of citizens of Southern Cameroon are going through. There are some that are not able to bring it to, but however, for the few ones that are very cruel, I have no choice but to present it as naked as it is. For those who feel very offensive, please do not watch this video. This is Comrade Funton Daniel speaking here for the happy Valentine's on the citizens of Southern Cameroon to the rest of the world community. Imagine, when we speak of democratic institutions, when we speak of the rule of governance, when we speak of an effective management, when we speak of a government that represents the people, La Republique has never historically shown any effective governance since it was created. It was former Ahijo that was in power for 25 years and followed by this, the most cruel Pobia that is now on 38 years. And not only because he has filled the entire military with his own tribal men, the entire government are all his tribal men. They control every aspect, and that is why in Southern Cameroon territory, they are being deployed to carry on the most cruel genocide in Southern Cameroon territory. If we, the world society, respect United Nations Resolution 1514 and United States call and ask for the United States to make any critical move, that would have happened within less than 24 hours.